So you want to start a YouTube channel? Let's talk about it. So in today's video, I'm talking about content objectives. I'm going to go over what content objectives are, why it's important to set clear content objectives, and how your content objectives dictate the type of content that you create. And finally, I will go further into that by using an illustration of the fashion niche. Now, this video is number 6, I believe, of my 16-part series on how to start a YouTube channel. In my previous videos, I've covered topics such as the type of equipment to purchase, picking your niche, and some privacy and security settings that you may want to implement when creating your channel. If any of this sounds interesting to you, you can go ahead and hop on over and watch those videos in my playlist. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hi, my name is Chinye, and I am a new business development strategist. And on my channel, Business on a Budget Co., I use my 10 years of corporate finance experience to show you how to start and grow your business even if you have limited funds. If that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Okay, so let's dive right into content objectives. What exactly are they? Well, these refer to very specific goals that you set for your YouTube channel. They help define the reason behind why you're posting. Instead of just posting for the sake of posting, you have a very specific reason behind every piece of content that you put on your YouTube channel. Now, your content objectives can go beyond just YouTube. When you think about your overall content strategy, that strategy can encompass YouTube and Instagram and TikTok and all of your other social media platforms, or even your website and blog. Ultimately, defining your content objectives is about being intentional about what you're posting, where you're posting it, and why you're posting it. It's about answering the question of what are my goals and how is this piece of content going to get me there? Okay, so why are content objectives so important? Well, like I mentioned earlier, content objectives help you be more intentional about each video you post. You have a goal. You have a reason why you're on YouTube, right? Whether that's to build a business on this platform or if it's to become an influencer or a content creator, you have a reason. Your content objectives are that reason. You need to know what those reasons are so that when you post each post, it's going to get you to that reason. Each post needs to get you closer to that goal. Okay, topic number 3 is how your content objectives will dictate the type of content you create. So when you know the reason or the objectives around why you're on YouTube, then you can now create content specifically designed to help you reach those objectives. So let's use the fashion niche as our example. So let's say we've got 2 women in the fashion industry. One lady is interested in building a personal brand around fashion. She wants to be the go-to girl when it comes to being in the know about what's happening in the world of fashion. Our second woman is a boutique owner. She owns an online boutique and she wants to grow her sales and reach new audiences to ultimately drive sales in her business. All right, so let's just say it's in the middle of Fashion Week. Now, we've got runway shows, it's Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, and there's all this buzz around all things new fashion and what's being shown on the runway. So because these 2 women have completely different objectives, they're going to approach Fashion Week in 2 different ways. Their objectives are informing the content that they are creating. So the woman who's trying to build a personal brand, she's going to spend her time talking about all of the fashion on the runway. She's talking about Fendi and Louis Vuitton and all of the stuff that's trending. She's possibly going to go to shows and show you that content and really deep dive into what's trending and all of the commonalities around the runway. Her goal is to be the person that you go to for all of your fashion news. Now, the boutique owner, on the other hand, that's not her objective. Her objective is to drive sales to her boutique, not tell you all about what's going on at Fendi. So the way she approaches it is going to be different. She might say, oh, the runway was full of emerald green trends, but then she's going to highlight any emerald green that she's got in her boutique that you can then use or purchase to be on trend. So she might say, oh, hats are really trending for fall because Louis Vuitton had them and Chanel had them as well. So my boutique, you can definitely get on with this trend and do it for less. So here are all these hats that I've got in my boutique. So can you see how it's the same topic of fall of fashion or runway trends, but these two creators are approaching it differently because their individual content objectives are different. So as you're building your channel, this is what you need to think about, especially if you're trying to build a business or create an income from this platform. You need to be intentional about every single piece of content that you create. Now, that's not to say that you can't have fun with your channel or create content for the sake of creating content, but it is to say that if that's what you're going to do, it needs to be intentional. So if you're creating content just because, or just to have fun or infuse a bit of your own personality, you need to know that when you're making that content. You need to know that, hey, I don't expect this video to drive traffic to my website because that wasn't the intention of that post. You need to know why you're posting what you're posting, and you need to have some level of expectation about that particular post. So when you go and then you check your metrics around your videos, you wouldn't be surprised that X, Y, and Z video where you were just kind of infusing your personality, you're not going to be confused about why that didn't drive traffic to your website, because you knew when you were creating that video that that wasn't the intention of that. So that way you're not going to make decisions based on, oh my God, why didn't this video drive traffic to my website? Because that wasn't the intention of that post and you knew that going in. So likewise, if you create content specifically around driving traffic to sell that emerald handbag, your expectation when you go and check your metrics is that people left your video and went to your website to go buy that green or emerald green handbag. Okay, so on my website, I've got my ebook, The Comprehensive Guide to YouTube. And in that ebook, I list 15 different content objectives that could help you get started with building out your content strategy. Now, it's totally fine if you have a couple of different objectives. Just make sure that you're being thoughtful and intentional based on what you're trying to achieve with your YouTube channel. So for example, for Business on a Budget Co., I've got a couple of different content objectives that I create content around with those objectives. And likewise on my other channel, I also have a couple of different ones. So don't be concerned if you've got a couple of objectives that you're working with. All right, so that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any additional questions, go ahead and drop them in the comments down below, and I will try to get to them as quickly as I can. If you would like some additional help with building out your content strategy for your channel or your future Day 100 business goals, feel free to head on over to my website at businessonabudgetco.com and go ahead and book a session with me and we can talk about it. All right, so thank you so much for watching.